Mariana is a successful entrepreneur, a mother of three, founder of Oblique, which is an innovative beauty salon chain in London.
It just came from a lunch conversation. Just literally a person said, I'm selling this place, and I said, oh, this is what I want to do. And in 2 weeks' time, I took over the place. So I burnt out big time. Yeah, of course.
Tell me about it.
It's a lot of stress, especially when you're in a foreign country. Oh, how many times I cried on my mom's shoulder saying, I can't do this anymore. And then I went back again and did it.
So about Oblique, what do you think makes it different? On today's episode, Mariana Eidelkind, founder of Oblique Beauty Salons. Welcome, Mariana.
Thank you so much, Dana, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to paint a little picture and a little introduction for our audience as to who you are. So Mariana is a successful entrepreneur, a mother of three, founder of Oblique, which is an innovative beauty salon chain in London. And she was born in Estonia, lived in the US before moving to Moscow for studies and work, and finally to London to build her family and life here. Welcome.
Thank you. Beautifully put.
So, before you did all of these moves and you literally moved from one side of the world to the other, I can imagine that the motivations between these moves were very different over the years. But looking back, what do you think were the events or influences that were the most influential in shaping your identity over the years?
Amazing. So if you think about it, that I moved to the US when I was 9, which obviously wasn't my choice. We moved with our family to the US. And having come there, I didn't identify at that moment. I wanted to integrate as soon as possible. And I didn't feel straight away at home, but it took a bit, a couple of months. And I integrated. And after 4 years, my parents decided to go back to Estonia. And I came back already an Americanized teen. So at that point, actually, I believe that I'm very grateful to my parents because they taught me to adapt. Because having gone to the US with no proper preparation, I was 9 years old. I was just placed in a school where I learned English as a second language, being an immigrant, all this kind of story. And you learn to adapt, and you are not afraid to show who you are, that you are equal to others. So it really, I think, helped me to shape my character and not to be afraid of change, and just to welcome the opportunities. And also because having come from Estonia, where you have just one kind of background of people, going into the US, very multicultural school where I was, and I had friends from Taiwan, Brazil, China, you name it, and we were all equal. So actually, it made me understand that we're all one, and it's great to make friends from different backgrounds. So at an early age, to understand that was amazing for me. So having come back to Estonia, already being an American teenager, where I have already forgotten Estonian, I have forgotten Russian as a language. When I had to go back, I had to relearn the languages.
So it went that quickly?
Yes.
Wow.
Because for a 9-year-old to go and integrate very fast into an English, like American school, where English is the primary language, and my parents also tried to assimilate into the culture. So of course, I had to completely start over when I was 14. Imagine a teen starting over to learn and to adapt. And that helped me also. The transition going back was interesting for me. So, and then when I was 18, I moved to Moscow because I wanted to be amongst the Russian culture, Russian community, learn more, in depth what the people are like, the literature, the way of life. And it was also quite an incredible shift. And I went from a home where I had a father who would be the figure who would take care of me, protect me, put like an imaginary cage maybe. And he was the one who kind of always helped me to get through life. He was my best friend, actually, my father. And he always was there, even if a teacher, let's say, gave me not a great mark, he would go to school, I'm gonna go talk to them. So he was overly protective.
Yeah.
So having come from a background of an overly protective father, it was very difficult for me to try to do and make something on my own. So I wanted to go somewhere where I could be on my own and try to make something of myself alone. So I went to Moscow by myself, despite actually my parents' approval, because they thought it was not the right time, 2000s in Moscow, which for me, on the contrary, was the funnest experience. But of course, these were the wild years, and it wasn't maybe safe for a young girl to go on her own. And
why is that?
There was a lot of change. Yeah, there was a lot of change just in the way of life, and people were getting super rich, super poor. There was a lot of crime, so it wasn't, the fluffy times. And I was supposed to come either to London or to go to the US to study. And I said to my parents, please, this time I just want to go to Moscow. This is my wish. And they said, well, okay, we don't approve, but you do what you got to do. And I felt, it was the intuition, I felt I have to go to Moscow. And in Moscow, that was the place where I came. I first went to the university, and after finishing the university, I found work where I could realize the creative potential and to try to build everything on my own, which was very, very incredible.
Wow. I can imagine there's already so many cultures that you were exposed to, and so many things that you learned in the different countries from those different cultures. One thing that's popped into my mind as you were speaking about your experiences and what you gained in you studying abroad at such an early age and changing environments, because I hear oftentimes mothers, especially young mothers, they are concerned what happens if they travel a lot, what happens if they are not sure if they want to stay in the country that they're in. So there's this big responsibility, obviously, that they carry on their shoulders, and they're really unsure what is the best course of action for the kid. And I always say that surely being exposed to different cultures and this life of constant change, yes, it poses some challenges, but surely the upside is much bigger.
Massive.
Yeah. So you're a perfect example.
Absolutely. I have been in London for a long time, and my kids have been born and raised here up till today. And to be honest, what comes tomorrow, I don't know.
Yeah.
What if there's an opportunity to move to Hong Kong or move to Brazil or anywhere? I'm very open to change, and I always teach my kids that adaptability is very important, that they actually have shifted, like have gone to different schools already in their life. Even in pandemic, we were stuck in Spain, and the schools there were open when in the UK were closed. So I put them into a school there, they went into school there, they saw, they tried, they saw how different the culture is, the way of education, everything. So they had this experience, and even next year, maybe they'll go to study in Dubai for a term or something like that. So I'm very open to giving them an opportunity to try different things.
Fantastic. And they're very flexible and adaptable.
Absolutely.
They welcome almost this sort of change.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
They're not afraid of that.
And what do you think, whilst we're on the topic, what do you think are values or the facets of mindset that you've kind of gifted them or instilled in them so that they are so flexible and welcoming to these types of changes?
Well, firstly, I do think that we as parents are their role models, and I always talk to them as adults about how I live, what I go through. And the most important thing, I think, when we speak about a mom with young kids doing a business, it's very important that I always portray and show to my kids that I enjoy what I do. So it's super important to really enjoy and be excited about what you're doing. That way there is no guilt and there's more freedom, and they learn from this. So they appreciate me. They don't ever feel abandoned, that I'm doing something else and not being with them at that time, because they actually think I'm doing something amazing, which makes me very happy. So I always talk about it, and I portray it, and I'm being really real with them, and I don't sugarcoat things. So, and I always give my kids choices. Of course I say, I would like for you to do this and this and this. But for example, one of my sons didn't want to play the piano. And I dreamed of all my boys to play the piano. So one played, the second played, third one no. And so the others started to play, and I said, well, David, you should give it a go. You will regret later. And, I gave him a choice. And he actually decided, okay, I'll give it a go and I'll play. And he plays amazing right now. And he was really like, Mom, this was a great decision, So we really have to give choice to the kids.
Amen. Oh my goodness, you have no idea how much I resonate with what you just said. And it's not just with kids. This is
With everyone.
Yeah, it's like basic human psychology. Yes. It translates into relationships so much. Nobody wants to be forced into anything. Nobody wants to be trapped into anything. And I think freedom is a fundamental human need. Right?
Absolutely.
So when you do things this way, you get the same result. You get a better result because it was his choice, and now
I do that. They make their own choices.
Yeah.
Yet I'm always suggesting that in our family, we have our values, so we have like the value and belief system that we instill for our children, that this is the way that our family does things. These are the things we believe in. This is the decision that we tend to make, but you need to, to explain if you're not in tune with that. So we have a lot of conversation. I speak with my kids a lot about everything and the choices they make all the time.
So I guess it promotes this space where they can say, well, I'd like to do this, and I know that you probably want me to do that, but I think that this is the right choice for me because
I will support them to do that.
Nice.
Yes.
Amazing. I love that.
They're all different.
They're all different.
So you can't shape them the same. I have 3 boys, so 12, 10, and 7. And they're all very different people, and you just cannot, make them do what you want. You're a vessel. You brought them here. They have their own paths, and I'm sure, kids, they come with so much potential, and a lot of the times, of course, the society and the schools, but us as parents, we also kill a lot of their identity from early childhood, and I realize that, and I really want to cultivate as much as I can.
That's very, very healthy. It's a good balance between guidance, but also the freedom to encourage, to express who they really are.
And I want to be friends with them ultimately. I am not a dictator. I don't wish to have this relationship. I really would. I dream of, them bringing all their friends to our house when they're much older and just hanging out with us. Yeah, this is my dream. I want to be their friend. They're, not a partner, and not really, I give them guidance, but it's ultimately their choice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful way. So going back to your own journey, a question I want to ask you is, whilst you were studying, you were simultaneously pursuing 2 bachelor degrees. And when you started working, you were also simultaneously doing 2 jobs. You were the creative director at Marc Andre Paris, and you were also advising the CEO of World Fashion Channel, coordinating their PR strategy. I want to know, what is the source of all this energy and drive that allows you to be a high performer, ultimately, from the sounds of it, and not burn out, and do it in a long term?
Well, firstly, I think because this happened when I was in my 20s, so because I was really passionate about everything that I did, and I think it's very different drive than it is today, because when you're in your 20s, you're a maximalist. You want to do everything to your best ability without understanding where's the limit. So of course I burned out. Everybody burns out. That's why I think it is so important for youngsters to actually learn these skills from early age. How to achieve, how to manage stress, all of this is super important. So I burnt out big time. Yeah, of course.
Tell me about it.
It's a lot of stress, especially when you're in a foreign country. Oh, how many times I cried on my mom's shoulder saying, I can't do this anymore. And then I went back again and did it. So before, when you're very young, you're just giving it all with no control. And I have to be honest, I was very lucky because I always did what I loved. So every job I had, I loved it. And I loved to go deep and do more and work crazy hours, like 15 hours a day sometimes, end the work at 12, 1 a.m., whatever. Just because I was so passionate about it. And a lot of my previous bosses always say, you worked as a one person over 10.
Wow.
In different specialties. So I could be a multitasker in a lot of companies. That's why I guess we had this great relationship, because I did a lot of different things and substituted a lot of different.
Most valuable player.
Yes.
Okay, and so
and
what have you
different.
learned? Yeah, what have you learned over time, and how do you manage your energy now?
Well, now I did understand in these past, I think 5-6 years, I understand that we are the source of the energy. So it is in our power, I think, to know how to navigate our energy, where to use it, how to replenish it, because we cannot just blame things on outside factors all the time.
So what are the things that help you? What is your protocol of, I'd say, internal and external self-care so that you can perform at the highest level, both at home and at work?
I love every single day when I wake up.
I love that.
Honestly, like I wake up and thinking, oh, this is going to be a great day. What amazing things. Even though it's going to be super hard and maybe tense and very stressful and chaotic, but I am still excited about every single day when I wake up, no matter the weather. No, I'm
Where
very
does the
excited.
excitement come from?
Maybe I'm born with it.
Nice. Okay.
I don't know. I just really love life.
Yeah. I really ask this because in my life, I come across every now and then these people that seem to have this like internal sun that's just churning out the energy, and they just do and do and do, and they go.
Because honestly speaking, I do understand that. I do think that life, maybe it's silly to say, is a game. So do I really want to have bad time at playing the game, or I want to even, play the game as best as I can, even if it's super difficult, but I just do my best at what I can, and to enjoy, because we're here ultimately to enjoy. And so this is this is.
So when you say life
purpose.
is a game, what do you understand with that?
Well, because like in a game, there are always different outcomes and always different paths. Like you roll a dice, for example, it can be 5 or a 4 or a 3 or a 2. You can go left, right, backwards, whatever. Depends on the game. But you are the dice. So you choose how to navigate, how to roll. Yes, you choose how to roll.
Love that.
Yes.
So the next thing I'd like to ask you is your romantic life. So the next chapter of your life is very distinctly, you moved to London, you had your family, but how did you meet your husband? You told me that you literally manifested him in 2 weeks' time. So what was that like? You were single and then you were like, okay, well, now I want to have a partner, I want to get married, this is what I want, and lo and behold, 2 weeks later?
I think that I was quite grown up from an early age. Because if you think about it, I was having quite a leading role in a company already when I was 23. Because when I came just as like an assistant of an assistant of an assistant, and very fast I already became as a leading management. And I was quite grown up and very responsible. And by 25, I already felt like I'm ready for a serious relationship. And I must say that I was very dreamy all the time, and my friends would make fun of me because I say, "Oh, I just met a guy," and like, "Oh, you again tried, to put his family name to your name, like you're getting married," because I was always very I was a lot in fantasy. I like to draw the beautiful picture, think he's the right person, because I really used to wear a lot of pink glasses. I still do. I think I still wear pink glasses, but I loved this kind of feeling of being very dreamy. And it didn't happen. So up until 25, there were ups and downs, different kind of people I met, different lessons I've gained. And at 26, I was literally sitting with my friend in my kitchen. It was December the 4th, I remember. That was December the 4th, 2008. And that was so long ago.
Wow.
2008.
And
I was sitting and she said, "Mariana, what is going on with your love life? What is going on?" And I'm saying, "You're right. I don't know. This is not what I want." And I actually had some boyfriend at that time. He was, I think, living in my flat and cooking for me and taking care of me, but really not doing anything to support me, I think, emotionally as well. So we're very different people, but he was there. And I said, "You know what? Yes. So it's 4th of December 2008. Let's put an end to this nonsense. I actually know the person that I would like to be with." And I give the list. I said, "Take a pen, write this down." And I start to literally dictate on that kitchen table the person that I want him to be 38 years old, born in Odessa, Ukraine for some reason, Jewish, knows a lot about art, history, loves theater, has been divorced, no kids, has been growing up in the States. His parents live there. Brunette, the height, everything. And imagine, so I had the list, and in 2 weeks, he writes to me on a website.
On a website?
On a website, online. We had this website on the class, I think it's like a Facebook. Yeah. So he wrote to me in like a Russian Facebook. Hello, in 2 weeks. There were 6 million people on the website. And so we went on the first date, and since then we never parted. And he was the 100% of that list.
Wow.
From Odessa.
Everyone is listening,
having grown up in the States, divorced, no children, everything. And loves art, music, and everything like that.
Moment of silence. Okay. Everyone is taking their pens and papers. Okay. Well, what do you think was the reason that it worked so perfectly?
Because I was very clear about what he is, and like, so I think when you make the list, it narrows down what the universe can send to you. So your wish is so distilled, because I was very, very particular, super particular. It's not like you say, oh, I just want to meet a man. I mean, this is not clearly enough, and that's why the universe is.
And you probably meet men every day. It's just not the men that
so you have to be super distilled and believe in it. And I really, when I was writing the list, I really felt this is the right person. And ultimately, imagine, he was living in the US, came to Moscow also like me. He wanted to live in Russia, having actually been growing up and having gone to the university in the US. He came to Russia like he thought, okay, this is the right place for him. And I came from Estonia to Moscow, and we met online, but in Moscow, both of us. So I guess it was just predestined.
Incredible. Incredible. I love that. So why don't you tell me how then becoming a mother and living here, which moment did the desire to open your own business come?
I think because I was always very active in my roles, and when I was working, I loved to be busy. And when when I came to London, the reason was actually we were having our first child, so we wanted to live here, to set up our family here. And I felt strange, having had the first child, the second child, the third child. So I started to think about what to do, even with my first baby. At first, when you have the first baby, what you want to do is baby clothes. I think every pregnant or a mom or a future mom goes through this phase. So I went even to exhibitions, tried to design, and then I thought, okay, no, baby clothes probably is too oversaturated. This is not what I want to do. Then I wanted to open up a baby and mom center. So I was working on that idea, but unfortunately, it was very difficult to find the space for my project. And then somehow I got pregnant with the second, and then the third. So after 4 years, so in 4 years I had the three kids. I thought, okay, this is the right time. So when I was, my son was 4, 2, and 0, so 3 months old, that's when I started my new path.
Please tell me, how did you find time for ideating and starting a new business?
Because I didn't have the time to plan it. It just happened.
Okay.
So there was no preparation work, and there was no time to doubt.
Okay.
Or research even.
So how did it start? How did Oblique start?
It just came from a lunch conversation. Just literally a person said, I'm selling this place, and I said, this is what I want to do. And in 2 weeks' time, I took over the place. I was living in Spain at that time.
So for those that are listening that have no idea what is Oblique, can you give us a tiny introduction?
Well, right now, Oblique is already expands over 5 places, and we have a massive team, and we cater to any kind of beauty wish from head to toe that one could ever desire. And I started off 7 years ago just taking over a small nail place. But today we already have a house of nails, house of hair, house of aesthetics. Now we're doing house of wellness, and we're always expanding. Why 5? Because we're taking over a second double front, third double front. It's just been, and all in South Kensington, which is great for me to manage all in one go. I just pop from one to the other, and that's perfect to manage it. Yeah, but it was never a plan. Firstly, I never thought I'm going to do beauty. I never had any experience of doing beauty. I never researched doing it. It was just a lunch conversation, and I thought, this is what I want to do. So it just came to me, and we made the deal. And my husband, who is a financier, he was always saying, what? You're going to do a business without a business plan? Are you sure? I'm like, just stop. It's my intuition speaking. I will do it. I know how to do it. And that's it. And
that's how
since then I have been building it. Yeah. Just
love
through
that.
intuition.
So speaking about intuition, that seems to be a very strong driving force behind your actions. To somebody that's not so much in tune with their intuition, or they don't know even how to listen to it, how to hear it, what would your advice be?
There are tools, I think, to develop your intuition. Absolutely. I mean, I think intuition, it is a tricky one because it takes guts to follow your intuition. Because when we have some intuitive call about something, then ego steps in, and then you're thinking, oh, maybe I'm wrong, right? So to learn to do it, you can. I think first, even through journaling, you can see what comes out, and then actually underline maybe your first thoughts, and then think, okay, this was my thought, this was my initial thought. Because I mean, what is intuition? It's unconscious, like, you know, you're not really analyzing, right? It just came to you. So maybe through journaling, it would be wonderful to actually try to get in tune with your intuition. Absolutely. And check yourself. Are you following your intuition or not? Are you going against it? Because of course, having, you know, growing up, I always had strong intuition. Even in school, you know, sometimes they say tomorrow's the exam. I say, no, I'm not studying for it because it's not going to happen tomorrow. So just close the books and then I come to school and there's no exam.
Wow.
So I was, since early childhood, very in tune with my intuition. But also since early childhood, I loved psychology. I loved to go to psychological groups. I would be like the youngster in all the like psychological women's circles. I loved it. And I loved to read Paulo Coelho, you know, when I was 14, 15. So esoterics and yeah. So I was always kind of tapping into that kind of space.
Very interesting. So I guess for someone that's not that familiar how that even feels, it's just a feeling of hunch, of this knowingness that you can either follow and trust or not. Yeah. So I guess that's kind of like
that's why it takes guts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like playing the roulette.
It's like trusting an advice that you don't have a proof for yet, but that advice is coming from you.
Yes, and most likely it is the correct one.
Yeah.
So, and again, life is a game. You either go for it or you doubt it. Yeah. So I choose to believe it and to listen to it and be guided by it.
So about Oblique, what do you think makes it different? What makes it set apart from other ones so that it was able to grow so quickly?
To be frank, I don't know what other ones we're talking about, because of course there are businesses and I just focus on building my own. I don't really look around who is doing what and how are we different. I just want to make sure that we are doing our best. And the most important is the talent that we recruit. I still, till today, in having a very big team, I literally do check and vet every single person who works with us. It doesn't matter even what they do and what is their expertise. Every single person, I always vet myself. I interview them. I go through the process because we need to be aligned. Beauty, you know, some people may think that beauty is very superficial, but I actually think that beauty can be very empowering. And beauty can also be destructive, and beauty can also be healing. So for me, Oblique was never like a place where people just go get something done. I want them to have the experience of having something done and being taken care of and feeling the moment that people who are doing and giving a service, they actually do care. And that way we make sure that the services we provide are only kind and not unsafe, or are done not in the exact protocol. The safety, kindness, and taking care of people, this is the ultimate philosophy, I would say, of Oblique. And genuinely, every single person who works with us, they naturally want to do their best. Those who don't, they don't work with us. Yeah. Very interesting.
I'd like to know more about the internal training process, or you mentioned a couple of values that already you're instilling. Those are the ethos of your company. But what maybe are some important parts of the staff training process that they allow this very high customer retention that you have and you have also very good reviews for your business. And you mentioned that kind of the new customer onboarding comes solely from word of mouth. So that's obviously, those are very powerful tools.
Yes, I have built the business solely from the word of mouth. We've never had any kind of publications, PR. Now, 7 years down the line, I'm thinking, okay, maybe we need to do it for brand awareness, maybe, but we haven't done anything in that sense. So I have done, and I have built the company solely through word of mouth. And I think you lead by example, because my team know that I have a certain vision, and I'm always very clear with the vision. And we have team chats. Everybody, like I have, 100 specialists working with us. So it's a big team, imagine. And everybody has their own belief system. But we train every day. It's not like something that you do a training once a year and you forget about it. We train every single day because we see things or pick up on things, or maybe there is a feedback or some wish. We always post it to all chat groups. So all people can learn through the situation, not only to that particular management or to the nail people, or it doesn't matter. We share the situations or ideas to everybody, so people start analyzing and seeing what we mean and where we're going.
So I'm picking up on a few things that are working, why your company is working so well. So one is open communication, another one is communication amongst the team members, another is you communicating your values that are instilled also in the company. And then there's this customer focused, obviously, approach. What else do you think are some of the things that you're doing that are working very well?
I think we're always building an ethos that Oblique, because since people do spend so much of their time in the space, I don't limit them to, for example, if they want to stay after work, do each other services or something. We have a very strong community in our team. They really love to work together. And of course, a lot of my team are constantly lured possibly to different places, but we offer a lot of support. We offer handheld support to our team, and they know they can always rely on us no matter what's happening in their life. So we really try to be there for our team. And the team is there for each other as well. So it's very important. It was my dream actually to build a company where people want to work. I'm not only thinking about my company, about client retention. I'm always thinking about my team. How can I make my team happy? And it really, it's really amazing. Like, I have people working with us for many, many years. And of course, this is a transient business, but we're very steady. We don't really have people coming and going. Sometimes if somebody wants to pursue a different path, they maybe have a great opportunity somewhere, they go, but they do come back. So it's really nice.
So what do you think you're doing right, aside the things that you mentioned in this kind of nurturing nature and actually caring, again, not only for the clients, but also for the team? What are some other things that make you a great workplace for your employees?
Again, because we pick people so carefully to make sure they jive together, that they're not creating chaos within a company. And I had many, many situations where you can have a super talented individual, but if they bring negativity, chaos, chatter, unnecessary chatter to the team, we have to let them go. Because the calmness of the workplace and people feeling that they have their back with their team members is very important.
Absolutely. And I'm hearing that you're just really, really nailing and doubling down on the values in all aspects and all parts of your business. So starting from the beginning, when you hire, do they adhere to the company values throughout to the training, to the doing of the business, to interaction with clients?
Yes.
So
and we always, if we feel something is off, we mend it. And if there's no way to mend it, then we part. Yes. Because it's very important for everybody to maintain a very healthy relationship in a workplace. So for us, number one, healthy atmosphere in the workplace. And I, as a business owner, recently decided to change a bit my management style, because I am very pedantic and I do see 100 steps ahead, and I can be very direct just because I want things to be not perfect, but just for everybody to be happy. So it's always like I may be overly excited about something, or I maybe overly believe in something, but of course we have to understand that not everybody gets the information the same or sees things the same way. So I decided that I want to be only a fairy godmother, coming to the workplace and giving compliments to people and praising them for their work. And I necessarily don't want to be the one giving some adjustments or shifts directly. I would like to do it indirectly through my management team and not directly. Yes.
So putting in a layer between you,
yes.
so it doesn't become so personal anymore.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
You mentioned perfectionism, and you told me before that your life really shifted when you were able to let go of the perfectionism in your life. Can you talk to me to that experience and shift?
Well, perfectionism. If you think about perfectionism, is how we created ourselves. Nobody knows what is perfect for another person. We're all very different. So I think when I realized that, listen, I just have so many hours in the day and have so many things to do, does perfectionism really suit me and my sanity? Because perfectionism, honestly, I think firstly, it's a waste of time and it's super draining your energy. So it's great to be, to want to achieve some things perfect, but you cannot do it all. So you cannot be so hard on yourself all the time. And I was. Before, I definitely was a perfectionist, crazy perfectionist. I could sit weeks picking something out. Now I understand, come on, it really breaks your flow. You cannot be in the flow if you're a perfectionist. And time is precious, so why waste it on creating your own perfection in a perfection in a perfection? Just life can't get any more perfect anyway, as it is today.
Yeah.
So I think let's just let go of the word perfection. For me, I just do my best, what I can, today, tomorrow, every day, and only you know what is that best.
Of course. This resonates very much. There's a saying that goes, don't let great be the enemy of good.
Yes.
And so I also encountered these situations quite a lot in my life, because I can be like that. I can be, I have this vision and I want to make sure that the reality absolutely embodies the vision that I initially had. But many times it's very counterproductive. Exactly. It's counterproductive. It's a waste of time. And it's the great becomes the enemy of the good. And so I think it was the founder of Netflix that said that you have to, if you're creating a business, you have to find a way to fail very fast and very often at low stakes. So low cost of error, basically. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So if in the end of the day we focus on what is the ultimate purpose of what we're doing, and if that is, for example, to put out a product or to give out a service, then if you can give a good service to start with, then you should definitely start with that. And then you perfect it.
Of course, and then you perfect it. When you're trying to do the perfect label,
you
the
delay
other
by that
companies
long,
already
and people
have launched 10 products.
And people are not getting your service for all that time whilst you're working on a perfect.
Absolutely.
So it makes sense.
Yes.
Speaking of purpose, Mariana, do you know what is yours?
Ooh. Well, let's start first with what is purpose.
What is purpose for you?
Because, as a young child, we go to school, we do dance classes, learn maybe Spanish, do all these things. And actually in my, I don't know about you, but in our culture, there was never a purpose behind it. You got to do this.
Supposed to.
You do this, you're supposed to, this is your job. But nobody has been really talking about why. So actually, I think that since I was always interested in psychology and esoterics and all these kinds of things, spiritualities, I think a book came to my hands around maybe 15 years ago. It's called Ikigai, the Japanese way of happier and healthier life. Oh, yes. So when I read that book, everything just came, it shifted, and I said, oh my gosh, of course now I have to know why I wake up, excited every single day, and why I'm doing things. You have to have that. So sense of purpose, I think it's key for any kind of person to get anywhere in life. I think purpose in everybody's life can shift from time to time. So imagine 7 years ago I started beauty, and my purpose was making people, I guess, bluntly to say, more beautiful, more confident, more just getting a good service, having a great time, and enjoying the process. That was the purpose. And building a business where people would like to work as well, just a mutually interesting and creative. So I wanted to create spaces, which I really love to do, and I love to build businesses and see how we can make them better. So that was that purpose. Then you have a purpose of raising your kids. And now, since they're already much older, now I've instilled their purpose, so now they're carrying the purpose. So now my purpose as a parent is almost done, in a sense that, I've transitioned from my purpose to raising them. They're kind of already having the purpose of raising to what, this is a bit blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I can talk for hours about purpose. But purpose today for me in 2024 is different to what it was 7 years ago.
Okay. Ever-changing.
Ever-changing. So now I feel I would like to also help people in a more deep states, maybe. And I'm looking for ways, and it's a new challenge for me and a new opportunity potentially to see how maybe I can help people to live more in tune and more in flow and more happy. So I'm thinking, will it be my business that I'm going to shape into something else, or it will be myself trying to help people directly? I'm on this journey right now trying to figure out the next purpose, but definitely is to do with helping people.
I love that. I love that. We share similar ones then.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. I mean, the whole reason also for me to start this podcast was to understand how other people's relationship with purpose is. Some don't know. Some have never thought of it. Some have known since the day they were born. For some it changes, for some it doesn't. For some it's why, for some it's not. And so the journey of understanding through doing these interviews, through understanding that is very enlightening. And it's also very liberating.
Absolutely.
In knowing how it doesn't have to be the same for everyone.
And it can be the same for everyone, because I think as we go on and on, we're shaped by the people who we're surrounded with, by experiences, by travels. Everything can change in a day.
Yeah.
You move, you start something else, and your purpose, you can wake up in the morning and say, oh, now I want to do this, or I want to become a cook, or I want to become a pharmacist. Everything can change in one day. That means that I think as we go on through life, we can have many purposes or several purposes in one go or at different stages. So yes, I'm quite excited actually for the next purpose.
It sounds very exciting. I love that. I love that. And I do agree that in my personal opinion and in my personal experience, there's this one big umbrella purpose. And then there's the iterations, and they're almost like specific, not niches, but specifications that you can express it within. And that changes over the years, I think. So for me, it is as well. For me, it is helping people. And then over the years, it changes how I can do that best. In line, like Ikigai says, with what resonates with me most and what I can deliver most.
Of
and
course.
so, yeah, so that's kind of...
But it's also guided by intuition, don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So your purpose, as soon as you get in tune with your intuition, like you take the guts and start to listen to it, you will find your purpose very quickly.
I absolutely agree. Oh my goodness. I'm just remembering kind of my own journey. It's a beautiful journey.
Incredible.
So I want to talk about something that I think is another pivotal cornerstone of ensuring that you can live the life of your vision ultimately. And that is habits. Habits shape everything in our lives and are ultimately the steering wheel, I would even say. The steering wheel that will take you down very different roads depending on which steering wheel you choose. So my question to you is, what sort of habits do you have that have had the most positive impact in your life?
Writing down the plan for the day.
Yeah, very good.
Actually, making it very clear and making it in your agenda and making sure you have it visible. So sometimes if I have very intense days or things that I really need to get done and that are very important, I would actually put it on my screen, like on my screen on my phone, so I could see it, not to go into the calendar, because you can go by your day, you can forget things. So it's very good that you can actually see what your goals were for the day. It takes the stress off.
Yeah.
Immensely.
Very true. Very true. I do that as well. Anything else?
Well, my habit definitely, and I really think that you have to find how to move your body that brings you joy. If somebody says you got to do Pilates, I don't know, 5 days a week, and it doesn't resonate with you, I don't think it's going to do much good. Because why go and do something that you don't enjoy? So that's not going to be a positive habit, I believe. So moving your body is super important, preferably in the morning if you can. And that means that if you're getting in the hang of it, make sure you do what you enjoy. And that's going to definitely set the whole intention for the whole day, how you're going to feel. Yes. So habit of doing something active for your body that you enjoy. So I have found that, and I'm very, very grateful. Even 10 minutes a day can make a big shift. I do write in the morning, so that's my main habit. Sometimes it depends. I write in the evening and in the morning. But one of the main habits to also take the stress off, I plan my day beforehand. So before I go to bed, I calmly think what I need to get done, what are my main goals for the day.
Because does that not wake you up?
Not at all, because I do it with blue
light blocking glasses.
Because I'm already in a very calm state. And I write it down, and with a very beautiful background music. Right now, like, my main playlist consists of Garden of Light Spotify list, Garden of Light in Ibiza, or the Aware music, which I love, or the Aware radio.
Nice.
So I put on my beautiful music before I go to bed. I put on my the blue-green blocking glasses. And I write in my Remarkable, because I like to write by hand. Really calms the nervous system down, plan my day ahead, and I already go to sleep de-stressed, because I know what I'm going to do. When I wake up in the morning, after I do things that calm my mind, then I reread it, and it works perfectly.
And what are the things that you do in the morning? So you journal, you said?
I journal, but I journal not the plans. I journal my thoughts. So I distill and just, put out on the paper whatever doesn't serve me or serves me. So it has nothing to do with work. When you wake up, from your intuition, you just write whatever you want for the 5 minutes. Sometimes, actually now I'm doing this program, the Double Detox I told you about, and the ladies, they give us the questions to answer. Actually, they're pretty cool questions. So maybe I will actually get into the habit of using those questions as a pivotal point on what to write, and change them from time to time. And that really helps to get your nervous system down. So not start your day with focusing, what I need to do, where's my list? Don't do that in the morning, super stressful.
Absolutely. So it sounds to me like you have a very clear morning and evening routine.
Yes.
Which kind of allows you to then be very optimally performing during the day.
Yes, because otherwise, either you work or you don't work, or you have family life, or you have your own busy, your own personal life. We still need lists. We are creatures of habit. And because a lot of people are talking about stress. Well, you stress yourself by not planning or putting things in place, or not knowing what you're doing when. So as soon as you start to distill this, I think the stress levels could definitely, you're wearing the Aura ring, I'm not wearing it today, but not using it lately, but going into a habit of using it again. So I'm sure you can see your levels change when you're in tune in what you're doing,
What you just mentioned, it's, again, not to undervalue the habit, the power of habit, and how having routine in one place and having certainty of what you are going to do in one place gives you the freedom to then express and be more powerful in the rest of the day. So it's kind of like the balancing act.
And I also felt that it's very rewarding to do something that you don't know how to do. to get into a habit of making some changes and learning something every day, maybe just a little bit. So now, when I was a child, I used to play the piano. And over the years, I didn't play the piano. So now I actually started to put into my morning practice to play the piano, like simple app, Simply Piano, 10 minutes a day. Wow. Like your brain starts to work in a different way. Yeah.
It's very true. To speak on the brain kind of revitalization, I read very recently that if you use the mistifier, yes, with different particular kind of sense, that activates your brain in so many different ways.
Very possible.
So, good things to try.
Yeah, that would be interesting to learn more about it, which sense do what.
That's why I bought the one that you see. So I want to also ask you about the mindset, and that's both obviously in your personal life. Again, clearly you're able to do all sorts of things at the same time. And I still need to ask you about today, how much of your time does the business take, and how much of your time does the family take? And how are you able to compartmentalize both of them?
We have to be, again, realistic how much we can carry on our shoulders. And sometimes, of course, I get overwhelmed because I have 3 kids. And I also recently took a dog. So I have a puppy at home, which is a 4th son. Yeah, which also...
Give the work to the busy ones, there's a saying.
I didn't realize how much work that's going to be. But anyway, at least it's super rewarding and cuddly. And, I love him. So it's been a great decision. And it keeps the kids also busy and calmer. And gives them responsibility. So how I get it all done and keep it under control? You need to have, unfortunately, I can't say I do it all by myself because it's impossible. You cannot do, can't be a great wife, a great mother, an entrepreneur, a cook. You cannot be all these things at the same time. Let's be realistic. And I like to be good at most things. So you have to, of course, delegate some things. And if you think about how much time I spend on work, I try from this year to do less small operational work. So I actually I'm very grateful to have wonderful people next to me. It took years actually to find somebody that you really feel that can take over and help out. So I drive the creativity, the progress, the ideas of training, the building new concepts, because I actually do build and oversee all my new projects and things. But I stopped doing small operational things because these take out a lot from the creativity process. And when my team drags me back into it, I start a bit to suffocate. So I really have to, and I'm making sure they all understand that I cannot do everything at the same time. So I am going into more serious decision-making, developmental questions. They're all on me. And little operational things I delegate. Not always it happens that it can be, unfortunately, yet. But I'm slowly gravitating towards doing less and less of operations, more strategic, creative things. Because if you think about 2 years ago, I was doing all myself. Salaries, operationals, project buying, like every single thing. So when I reached over 50 people team, then I understood I can't do it anymore. This is impossible. So I started to look for help, and you want to find people who really understand you and who are...
You're talking about help on the business or
on
with
the business,
kids?
On the business. I'm only talking about the business side of things, that it takes time and understanding and finding that person who appreciates and sees sees the things how you see. So it took me many years to find a person who understands and does things from your perspective as well. Because you as a business owner, sometimes it's very difficult to let go. But when the people respect you enough, try to do it the way they understand you would like it, it works. And it just works.
Yeah, I guess the challenge is in finding that sort of person.
And I'm very lucky I have found. Very lucky. I can't even imagine not having.
And what about the family side?
I was lucky to have a person who was with us all these years, the same person to help out with the kids.
So like a nanny? Mm-hmm.
Yes, for all these years, the same person.
Okay.
Yes, which also means, I guess, I'm in tune. To live with somebody for 10 years, which is a foreign person, takes guts as well.
For sure,
yeah.
For sure. So does that mean that you kind of work most of the day on the business and then you can spend time with your kids in the evening?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I always had to have the schedule, but that meant I would work 14 hours, 15 hours, because I would wake up, I'd be with the kids, then I delegated all to work up approximately until 5 o'clock, and then from 5 I will be with the kids until they go to bed, and then I go back to work.
Wow.
Because when you're building your business, you're working all the time. So it was very difficult because when the kids were so small, under 5 years old, I wanted, of course, to be with them, but then I really was excited about building something. So it was very difficult to challenge. I remember I actually did a lot of, I had to go and find ways to support myself emotionally at that time. Like to do breath work and yoga and just calming exercises, because sometimes it was too much. And also at that, when I started to do my business and I had the kids, I remember I actually shifted a lot. I had a shift for friends as well, because some people didn't understand why I was doing what I was doing. So I think I had to change also my circle at some point.
What has changed now? Do you feel like you have the circle that you want?
I love my circle of friends. They're my family. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, it's very important to have your own tribe. You can be liked by everybody and you cannot like everybody.
You don't need to be liked by everybody.
Yes.
You just need to be liked by the people that you like.
I think generally much more before, when I was still younger, I thought, because I always loved people and I always saw people from pink glasses, and I really generally liked everybody and I wanted to give my heart to everybody. And then I got hurt at different times of my life. Yes, so it takes time to find the people who accept you with your naked heart. And I did get hurt many times when you really, you come with an open heart and people maybe, don't like you, don't invite you, whatever. And I did take it at some years quite painfully, but it's a part of growing up. Then you realize that they're all lessons in life. And you have to be grateful to whoever you meet and whatever lesson they brought to you. So now, I'm 39 now, and I couldn't be more grateful for the people around me, because you choose, they're the family you choose, essentially.
Absolutely.
And when you're talking about habits or how you feel about yourself, it can also be a lot shaped by the people around you. And they can shape and they can inspire you and they can teach you incredible things. So to be honest, I have people around me who are my close circle, who I'm just I'm so grateful for what they bring also to the table and what I can give them back, because it is a symbiosis, and it's really, I think, important where you can freely speak your mind.
Yeah.
And not go back to home and analyze, I said something wrong, or how am I going to be perceived?
Yeah.
Today I could care less.
Do you reckon it's a matter of you having changed or people having changed, or both, so that you don't overthink after you?
No, it is my mindset. Of course, it is us. It is us who understand and going through life that, I just want to spend time with people who want to be with me, who have the time, because London is very chaotic. And of course, we all lead our lives, we have our agendas. But essentially, I always make time for people that I would love to see. I generally actually make time for everybody, because I really would like to, I see beauty in everyone, to be honest. And even if it's like we're not of the same vibration today, it can change. So I love people for who they are, no matter what they bring to the table, and if there is a vibe now or not. But it has been difficult for me to go through this when I wasn't accepted by people. Yes, so it was a learning curve. But now, I'm very grateful and happy.
Beautiful. I can resonate strongly with what you're saying, because one of my core values is beauty. And often people misinterpret that, but I can see how you understand. It is such a multifaceted thing, beauty, and it's such a great power, and it can be soothing, it can be inspiration, it can be beauty, healing, absolutely. So yeah, that's very true. And to your point of people, I was thinking about this recently. It's like, we know that there's 8 billion people in the world.
Of course.
Very different people. And you only need a handful of people really in your close circle. And so when we have, say, more than 9 out of 10 people that accept us and they like us in our circle, and then there's occasionally somebody in the extended circle that we don't agree with, or they don't like us, simply, plainly. And the tendency of the mind always is to emphasize the negative, right? It's evolutionary. We're brought up this way. It is a fact. But when you're aware of this and you logically put it on paper almost, and you look at it, it's like you quite literally pick one person out of 100 that doesn't like you, and you choose to completely ignore 99 people that like you and just focus on that one person.
Of course.
And then think about why your day is, not so great. Hilarious.
Yes, I can tell you that since early childhood, I had this, it was difficult for me not being accepted. I was going through this, even in my 30s, in the beginning of my 30s. I had this feeling of like, oh, am I not good enough? Why wasn't I invited? What happened? They don't like me anymore. I had this, I think it was one of my weaknesses at some point. And my husband was always saying, Mariana, why are you so stressed about this? Why is this so important to you? I'm like, I don't know, but I like them so much. What happened? It really hurt me a lot. Every stage of our life, we meet different people and we feel different things. And the most important is just to enjoy. And if you feel something is not right, it is your intuition speaking, so just listen to it, move on. There's another person who would have a wonderful conversation with.
100%.
And it's very important to be able to open your voice and to speak your mind. If there's a society that doesn't allow you, or there's a group of friends that really don't talk about anything, just some superficial things, then it's your choice. Do you want to spend your time speaking about the weather, or you would like to maybe go deep and learn more about each other? So this is ultimately your choice. It's not about the people, it's about you.
Absolutely. This is actually one of my prerequisites, I suppose, with people. No matter in what capacity they're in my life, they need to be able to go deep. Like, I need to be able to have those deep conversations with them. If that's not an option, I can't.
It comes with experience, of course. You choose how you spend your time. Precisely.
I want to ask you to share with us and the listeners some of your greatest life lessons that you've picked up over the years that have served you.
Pace yourself. If you feel it's too much, you gotta pace yourself. You gotta breathe. You have to do your best for you, just for you, not for anyone else. Just for you to be happy and you to be content, because you are your own judge, right? So when you pace yourself, you understand, okay, I can't reach that capacity. So you do what you can and you do your best. You have to be in tune with your feelings. I have actually, with lessons, we learn every day. So it's a never-ending list. You have to adapt. You have to have empathy. Not everybody views the world the way you view it. So we have to be very considerate and empathetic to other people. Not expect anything in return. Just give if you want to give and what you want to give. And people change. You can change. Everyone can change.
Everything changes.
Situations can change. So when you're told people don't change, don't believe it. Everyone can. And also, yeah, well, actually one key lesson is just do it. Thanks to Mike.
Yes, absolutely.
Just do it. Take your risks, you know, and no fear. Fear is the worst thing you can, you know, embrace. Let go of fear. What is fear? Who told you to be fearsome? You have to be fearless. Just go by your day, you know, make that risk. And be kind. It's very important to be kind and lead your life through kindness.
Very interesting about fear, actually. I think it was an ancient yogi that had said that there are only two states that you can be in, truly, when you distill them to their core. And one is fear and one is love. That's it.
Of course, what do you choose?
Exactly. But it's not that obvious, because in the daily life they can take many different forms, right? So the fear can pose as a protection or survival instinct, you know, and then it can become in the form of maybe, you know, jealousy or, you know, sadness or many other different forms. But ultimately it is just fear.
But fear is very limiting.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
extremely limiting. Imagine yourself living in fear as if you're living in jail with almost no sunlight.
Which is a lot of people.
Well, let's get them out of fear.
Let's get them out of fear and in love.
And in love with
life.
themselves also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Themselves, with love, with the world.
I mean, of course, you know, if we speak about fear, there are so many different circumstances. And of course, there's so many people living in fear. You know, even in today's world, in the situations everywhere in the world, something is happening, and we're all being put to be in fear. You know, all this bombardment of all the social media and the news all around the world, they want us to be in fear.
Absolutely.
But if we are in fear, we feel fear, and it creates more chaos. It creates more aggression, depression.
No autonomy.
Yes.
Over self. No autonomy of our decisions. And ultimately it's easier to do what you want when people
So maybe
are fearful.
speak with yourself and thinking, why am I experiencing this? I don't like to live out of fear. I don't do anything out of fear, to be honest. I think I've been blessed, I think, from early age, not to, even though I've had a lot of difficult situations, you know, everybody has, go through different stages, but fear, this is something that I think from early age I decided to let go.
Yeah. That's very powerful. And hopefully I feel like the world is changing for the better.
Definitely for the better.
It's awakening to many, you know, tools like mindfulness, meditation, breath work, power of community, power of togetherness, of vulnerability, of authenticity. All these words are popping up again and again and again and again. So I think we're on a very nice trajectory.
Community is the sanity, I think. This is the step. For me, community is very important. And getting together like-minded people and sharing openly our views, and to even grow our children together in the community with no fear. Imagine what the world could be like.
Absolutely. There is for about, I think since COVID, there has been more and more talks in the circles of the people that I know of going back to kind of not the ancient ways, but more traditional ways, of actually having the neighbors that you know and you can ask help for, and having a community that you can share with, as you say, grow your, you know, kids together, and, you know, be closer to nature and be more self-sufficient. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting to listen to these thoughts, to these trends, to these ideas, and how we're ultimately, slowly, at least in circles that I know, are shifting away from the metropolized city life.
Yes.
And this urbanized, you know, everything is very central to more dispersed.
Yes, but imagine if you can make this in a big city. When you are building communities somewhere in the outskirts, like for example in Costa Rica right now, in Santa Teresa, a lot of people are building communities, gathering, you know, growing crops, growing things, buying up land together. So to, as you say, know your neighbors, kind of live together. But imagine if you can actually build a kind community inside big cities. That would be a massive shift, massive for the society, for schools. Schools need to be communities. a lot of schools that people don't even know they're, who are the parents of what kids.
Yeah.
It is very important, and to build the communities and make schools potentially of the same kind of values, belief system, way of life, looking into, this is the future. I choose to.
I sure hope so.
Yes.
So, Mariana, what is one question that I have not asked you that I should have?
Do you have that question?
No. It's a question to
So you want me to ask myself a question?
So a question that you think the audience could benefit from that I haven't asked you yet.
It's a very tricky one, because I think we touched up on so many things. Okay, here's one. How can you help yourself? And I think it's very important, because today we're bombarded by so much information, what we should and shouldn't do. We're being guided and misguided all at the same time. And social media is also shaping up a lot of our beliefs. What is nice, what is not nice, what is good, what is, where should we head, where should we vacation, what we should eat, what should we read. All of this, we're bombarded, so we're kind of influenced a lot by what others say. And I think it's very important to stop for a second, to pause, to stay in stillness and think, what is important to you and your body, your mind and your soul? What does your soul, mind, body, heart, what do they want? What do you want? I think it's very important to ask you this question every single day. It's so simple.
The check-in.
The check-in. Thank you. You check in with your body every single day. Tap, tap. How are you?
I like that.
That's very important.
Thank you, Mariana. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe and share it with someone. I would love to hear your feedback and suggestions as to what guests you would like to see on the show next. See you next week.